Hello, this is yours truly, Troy Walters, and I'm going to be showcasing my vintage video gear, which I've got a VTR and some Philips VCRs, and plus a bunch of cameras, and I'll be doing a demonstration of some of them in action. First up, I'm going to be showcasing my storage space, which of course is where I'll keep all my video equipment, and of course it's my bedroom, which is bloody shockers. You'll see why my mother complains. So I'll be showing an overview of that first. Then I'll be showcasing my video cameras in action, some of them of course, some of them don't work. Also I'll be showing some of the stuff that I'm chucking away, well, giving away to people hopefully. And after that I'll be doing a detailed view of my video recorders and showing some of them in action. Okay, as you can see, this is where I store all my video equipment. My good old bedroom. Not much of a storage zone, is it? It's totally chockers too. Now, here's where I keep most of my Philips VCR machines. As you can see, there's not much light since the room is dimly lit. I'll grab my fluorite so you can have a better look at it. Okay, here we have my Philips N1500 VCR, and down below, behind a bit of map, we've got one of my Philips N1500 VCRs. And up the top here we've got a Playback VCR 1780, which is pretty much similar to a Philips N1702 machine, long play. And here I've got another Philips N1700 VCR. And I'm going to soon use that to do some more transfers of my Philips VCR long play tapes. Now, and of course I've got my one and only VHS machine, so I can transfer my stuff to. And over here, underneath this pile of junk, got my old 1967 Sony CV-2100CE VTR. I'll be pulling that out soon. And above I've got one of my JVC camcorders. It works, but unfortunately the controls are a little bit buggered up. And over here we've got my camera collection. A few national video cameras, Hitachi, JVC, another national, sharp saticon equipment. And here we've got one of my camera suites, national camera, VCR, power supply, and tuner. The VCR itself does work, but unfortunately not too well. As it happens, when I'm recording I get tracking problems, and on top of that it doesn't seem to record the sound for some reason. And of course that's the package you sent me with all the tubes and stuff, or free tubes, and thank you very much. Okay. Now, I'm pretty much loaded with Philips VCR cassettes. Got them all over the place. The room's like a bloody jungle. Yeah. Okay, here's one of my VCR tapes, massive grams. Let's see if I can get a closer zoom. it's an LVC-90 SVC-free, which this is used on 3 types of machines. You can use most of these VCR cassettes on all 3 VCR machines. Got some VCR tapes sitting down here. And some chucks that hold the tape spools together when you buy them brand new. And behind all this junk here, we have some more VCR tapes. The VCR formats. I'll get the light over so you can have a better look. Unfortunately, the camera doesn't work too good in a room like this. Better for outside. There you are. Close. Just put a look. Okay, this of course is my VHS tape collection, which is full of music videos and stuff like that, old shows and all that sort of stuff. And of course I've got a few boxes underneath, so something like over 200 VHS tapes. It's continually growing. And underneath here, some pneumatic tapes, which is pretty much in the dark, so I have to put the flare over it light to show. Yep, here we are. About 38 of them. Most of them are the large format, some of them are the small format for the quarter pack pneumatic VCRs. And we'll pull one out and pull one of them out. Okay, that's my Sony AVC-3200CE black and white vidicon camera, which I'll be showing in action pretty soon. Okay, that's the brief overview of all the video equipment I have in my bedroom. You can see why my mother complains about space. Anyway, I'm going to do a much more detailed showcasing of my video collection. I'm going to have to take it all outside, show seeing that the lighting conditions in here is a little bit poor. Okay, out here I'm going to be giving a demo of my cameras in action. But first, before I do that, I'll be showing some collection that I'm going to be soon getting rid of because it simply just doesn't work. Okay, over here we have a 1982 VTC 5000 Sanyo Betamax machine and a JVC portable VCR and power units. And here we've got some more national gear and also a Hitachi power supply. Simply after this stuff just doesn't really work, so therefore I'm going to get rid of it. So I'm going to be looking for some people who might be interested in it. Now here is a better view of my video collection. What I have right here is a Hitachi camera, model number VK-C850. Here's a JVC camera. It's got wheezing out. This one's got an 8-pin camera socket instead of a 10-pin. Model number GX88E. Here we have a National WV-3030N color camera. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to work that well. JVC, I'm not sure about that. Hitachi was working good, but it's now having some weird color faults, which I'll be demonstrating later. Here's my Sharp camera, which is a model number XC51. It works, but the adjustments are way out. I'll show you what I mean later on. There's some extras in there. Also, what we have here is another national colour camera, the WVP-100N. Now, this is exactly the same camera. It's making this camera really cool feature, negative picture, great effect. Oh shit, don't rain. Anyhow, as it so seems, we're going to be getting some rain soon, so I'm going to have to do these demos before it rains. Hopefully my cameras won't get wet. Pretty bad day to do it. Okay, the first camera I'm going to be demonstrating is the Sharp camera. Okay, this is my Sharp camera. As you can see, the colours are all stuffed up on it, as I've been buggerising with the adjustments to try and get a good picture, as it initially had a picture with a shade of greens and magenta colours. And as it seems, it has about 17 colour adjustments, which of course is, you know, pretty complicated to try and get a good picture out of it, as I don't seem to have a manual for this to know which adjustments do what. Quite a bit of guesswork. So it's going to take a fair bit of adjustment to get it right. Okay, next up is the Hitachi camera demonstration. Okay, this is a Hitachi video camera here. As it seems, it was initially working really good, one of my best working cameras, but fortunately, as it so seems, it's now got some picture problems where the picture kind of wobbles a bit, and on top of that, you get green tinges and stuff like that, which cannot explain what's happening nor how to fix it. There I can see in the viewfinder the picture looks a bit distorted too, a bit stretched and squashed. So, if there's any way of fixing it, I'll have to find out. can see the picture squashing and stretching. Okay, next camera is another National. Okay, this is the National WVP-50N camera in action. Yeah, the only problem I'm having with this camera is the fact that you're getting on a more dull day you get problems like focal problems, which is a bit out of focus. Also, I have to, since it seems I have to close the iris a little bit. Basically, even on the viewfinder, the picture looks pretty blurry too. But on a sunny day, the picture looks rather good. Also, this camera is missing its internal microphone, so I'm using an external microphone as well. Anyhow, I'll whack the other camera back in and take a shot at this camera, and plus another National camera that I've got sitting down there too. Okay. Now then, here's the camera that I just used then. Here's the appearance of the camera. Just sharpen it up a bit. WVP-50N camera. And over here we have a more vintage colour camera from 1981, which is a National WV-3200CE camera. I've also got an old TV ad for that as well, which I've transferred off an old Philips VCR cassette. Well, looks like the cloud's almost ready to drop its stack. So one more camera to demonstrate. Hopefully it won't piss down rain while I'm doing it. Anyway, one more camera I'm demonstrating is my old AVC-3200CE camera, which I've got in the box right here. Just pull it out. And unfortunately I've got no mic to hook up to it, and nor an amplifier to hook into the VCR, so therefore there'll be no sound when I'm using it. Okay, now that's a camera demonstration for you. Of course, it did piss down rain, as you can see out there. Also demonstrated that on the black and white camera. Certainly did more than drop and stack those dark clouds. Anyway, glad I got my camera equipment in before it got drenched. Anyhow, next up, I'm going to showcase all my video equipment in detail. Later on I'm going to be showing my Philips VCRs in action. Okay, now I'm going to be doing a more detailed showcasing of my vintage video equipment. Starting up with my 1970s Philips VCR. This is my Philips N1500, which was probably made somewhere between 1972 and 1974. This one's in working order, although I have to manually lace up the tapes to play them. That's the VCR I used to transfer my standard play tapes to VHS. Anyhow, give you a more close-up view of it. Mind you, it's not working up the specs though, which I'll show you later why. But at least it plays the video cassettes and produces a good picture. Here's the back of it. And I use these two ports here to transfer the video, which are made special DIN plug adapters to to RCA, so I can transfer them to VHS. And it produces a much better picture than transferring it by RF. Which unfortunately the RF here doesn't seem to work. Okay, next up we have two Philips N1500 VCRs, which are long play VCR version of the old N1500s. Of course they've got that much more modernistic plastic appearance for a 1970s VCR. These ones came out in the market around probably 1977 in Europe and around 1978 in Australia. Now, give you a close-up view of the N1500. You've got your LED display with your digital timer, channels and keys. Now this VCR works reasonably well. All the keys function. You can play tapes on it. I can even record on it. It records quite alright. Alright, show you. Unfortunately, with these N1500 VCRs, I don't have any separate audio and video outputs. Instead they just have an RF, so therefore I've got a channel on the VCR, so I can transfer long play tapes to VHS via the RF cable. But I can actually sort of find the separate video and audio sections and work it out, output for the video and audio units. Over here we've got another N1500, exactly the same thing. Only problem with this one, the guide posts on it are rusty, which will probably put marks on the tapes. I should say put grooves in the tapes, which will stuff them up completely. Now here's a rare one. This one's a Hitachi VCR 1780, which is pretty much equivalent to a Philips N1700, except the bottom part of it's black plastic instead of silver. Now, this is also a long play VCR, and of course I just recently waxed some new belts into it, so which I've got to power up. I whacked a cassette in it and played it. You can get a pitch, but a very lousy pitch because you've got dropout lines on it, but that's because one of the heads is chipped, so therefore to get a head that's in good condition and whack it in. To get the thing working properly, I need a couple more belts replaced. Anyhow, this VCR, recently got it. It was about to end up out in the garbos because it was on the road for curbside pickup, and my mate found it and called me up, and I went up and collected it and gave it a good clean up. Also picked up a couple of extra tapes with it too. Yeah. See, it looks very similar. There's the logo. And pretty much the same as the Philips N1700, only RF outputs. Also coming soon is a Grundig SVR 4x4, which is even rarer to find in Australia since you have to import them from Germany. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you my JVC camcorder from the mid-80s, VHS-C format. And this must have been pretty much common back in those days, and even Back to the Future used one of these. Anyhow, this one works good with picture and everything. It's got a sunspot in it though. Also, unfortunately the record functions aren't working too good. I mean, most of the time when I try and hit the bloody record button, just focus it a bit. I hit the record button here, record play button. What happens is either the camera just switches itself off or it just throws it on the bloody pause mode, which of course prevents it from recording. Sometimes once in a blue moon you get it recording, but until you get it fixed up, I'm not going to bother buying a battery pack for it. Just hopefully be some way of fixing it up. So, other than that, it all works quite good. Okay, now here's a super rare piece of video equipment, which you know is a 1967 Sony CV-2100CE black and white video recorder. well, at least they're rare in Australia. Got this from Cavians and cost me 20 bucks. There's another one there. Wanted to buy it, but unfortunately my room is all chockers and won't be able to. I'm going to have to make way for some other video equipment, so can't really buy it. Anyhow, it won't be going away in a hurry. Anyhow, yeah, it looks pretty shit. Oh man. Oh. Yeah, it looks pretty nice and cosmetically good inside. It also powers up too, but don't know what its working condition is due to the fact that I've got a CV tape to, or a take-up spot, and a take-up spot to play it with. I'll later show you turn on the keys. The buttons work quite good. Also, looking at the heads are pretty good too. They're only wood chipped. Anyway, close up view of it. Try and get to the sides of it. Sure. As you can see, I've got some UHF to RCA adapters on there, so when I'm going to tape to test it with, if it works, I can easily transfer them to VHS. Also got some adapters for the mic plugs and the audio ins and out sockets. I'd say these machines would have been used more so in the industrial applications than for consumer use in Australia. Okay, I may as well start off with showing how this video recorder is when it's switched on. Showing it in operation, even though I've got no tape to test it with. I use that a little bit, the screw's still loose. So let's power up. Okay, power on. Yep, light shines up. Okay. Yep, that's the reason why that happens is because I've got no tape in it. So that one's rotating perfectly. The rewind works just fine. Also fast forward operates too. Okay. Yep, the record works as well. course, even the analog counter works as in operation as well. Well, as soon as I get a tape out, hopefully I can get this thing working really good. So I've got a good feeling that this thing's going to really work. Okay, now I'm going to demonstrate my Philips N1500 in action, which I'll show you how I'm going to have to lace this machine up to play the tapes, which I had to take the top cover of the video cradle and the head drum off. So what I'll do is whack the cassette in, get it down in, so I have to fill it with a bit, and when I turn on I'm going to have to move the head drum. And now do is hit the play button. Now this is just to adjust the tracking a little bit. Anyway, this is one of my earliest Philips VCR recordings I have. This is one of those college productions done on a black and white vidicon camera. This one was recorded back in 1975. You can tell by the long hair and the flares and that sort of fashion. Yeah, you get the odd glitches in the tape too. Yeah, a lot of the early standard play tapes I had came from Victoria, from a bloke in Victoria who happened to have got them from some college or something. I think, yeah, this was shot at Hawthorne College. Anyway, plays reasonably well for an old machine that looks beat up. Just focus on it. Yeah, that's a better picture. There's a head in motion.
The wealthy family have retained their roles, but the other boys are now guards of the new regime, attempting to prevent escape.
Yeah, you see the keys are corroded too. Yeah, this must have been sitting in the cabin shed for probably 20 years. Yeah, these machines can record, got a colour killer switch on it too, so you can record in black and white. So man, these cameras straight before they've got colour TV. The top middle button is the colour killer button. Because this VCR's got a special kit added to it, picture is a little bit soft. And when you add a sharpener to it, it should produce a picture at least as good as VHS quality. Yeah, that was a whack in the colour recording from 1978. Stopping the tape, when I switch it off I have to manually lace it down again. That's because the lacing spool inside is loose. Yeah, I'm viewing colour now. The colour is pretty desaturated, but when you play it back on the VHS tape after recording it, it's much more saturated. For some reason it does this. Yeah, it's in colour, but pretty desaturated.
Was the one who wasn't going to do that. He lost. He came back with burnt fingers, a hernia.
Yeah, it's in colour.
I want to do something about that buzz, Michael, I'll tell you that.
This is a Dave Allen at large show from 1978.
You know, it's a strange thing. We sit here surrounded by man's technical achievements. I mean, there's a camera there that can take a picture and instantaneously transmit it all around the world. Somebody else can flick a switch and the whole place is flooded with light. I don't understand. I accept it. I don't even know how radio works. I mean, I don't even know how I worked. If it all went off tomorrow, I would finish up in a cave eating raw meat. We owe a great deal to man's ingenuity. Let's take a look at some of man's famous inventions and what inspired them.
Master Caxton, you promised to pay me your arrears of rent as soon as you'd finished inventing your printing press. I did indeed, landlord, I did indeed. And so I shall. Thank you.
It worked.
Okay, next up we have our Philips N1500 VCR, which I'll be showing in action. Unfortunately the LED display looks a bit stuffed up, the timer and the clock and all that sort of business. I won't worry too much about that. This is my good operational N1700, which I can normally use to transfer long play video cassettes off to VHS, which I transfer via the RF. Now I have to tune this VCR into, as it's a bit out of tune. Hook up
Yes, get yourself a Sherman tank. You know it makes sense.
Okay, the pitch on this is a little bit wobbly, but that's pretty good. These VCR tapes came from the mother-in-law of Britain, who's doing away a bunch of tapes that he doesn't want.
Good evening, your name please? Good
These are
evening.
sundries.
The first heat, your chosen subject was answering questions before they were asked. This time, you have chosen to answer the question before last each time. Is that correct? Charlie Smithers. And your time starts now. What is paleontology? Yes, absolutely correct. What's the name of the directory that lists members of the peerage?
Including one of the
Study of
two
old
novels.
Who are Len Murray and Sir Geoffrey Howe?
Well, I'll be free for the tape bits. Also, I'll demonstrate what you get with dropout lines too. It's when you, that's what I call dropout lines. When the tape is bad, you expect to see a lot of that happening, overlapping the tape. I just off-tracked it a bit. Just to this is pretty funny. Anyway, that's what you get when the tape's bad. Also, you get that happening with the tape suffering the sticky shed syndrome.
put one on top, sir.
Flag wave and problem 2 at the top. As usually expected from old tools. Right. Now, next step, I'm going to find a tape recording command, so yeah, just want to explore the ones. Right, might as well show you how. Track in the centre.
It's in Canada?
Not in Canada yet, but in Bordeaux, France. Some in Spain.
There's
There's supposed to be one down near the Gulf of Toronto, Italy.
54 movie.
We're trying to locate the second meteor that landed in this vicinity just about midnight.
Well, do you think they come from Mars?
This one plays a lot better.
What do
It
you
doesn't
think, Dr.
wobble.
Morrison?
The picture doesn't wobble as much as
It's
the other
possible,
one.
at least it seems certain they're from some planet other than our own.
Suppose they are Martians, Professor. What would they look like? Bigger than us? Or smaller?
Down about is
Our gravitational pull
drop
would
out
weigh them
lines.
down. Our heavier air would oppress them.
Then you think they'd be breathing creatures like us. What about the heart and blood and all that?
But if they are Martian, and if they do have hearts, they'd almost certainly...
Soft wine, which is most appealing. Penfolds
Here's some
developed their
vintage
technique
ads
of
on
making
this
quality
video
port
cassette.
about a century ago. Penfolds Club Port is a tawny, with rich character and penetrating flavour. Seppel's Moisten Claret and Penfolds Club Port can be obtained from any of my cellars, and by joining the Vintage Club, you can enjoy these and hundreds of other.
Wait a Well, the way I figure, if I can work out what goes into GTX, we can make our own. Listen, Bird Brain, you know what goes into an oil like Castrol GTX? Well, I've worked out a few things here, Bryce. Get rid of it. But boss, I reckon... Listen, Saul. You listen good.
A high-performance oil like GTX would include an aminate N-chain amine dispersant adjunct of the olefin copolymer viscosity index improver, which acts synergistically.
And you want to make your own?
No oil matches the liquid engineering of Castrol GTX.
But, boss, I almost had it. Look. When are you going to learn, Saul? Oils ain't oils.
Things people say about permalum aluminium weatherboard. It really has improved the value of our home.
People have admired and said, oh, you know, it looks terrific.
Oh, no painting. No worries at all about painting.
Spread permalum all over your place and put on a happy face. For an obligation-free permalum survey, phone Hunter Douglas now, 336 7444.
Snappy Tom, the original real fish for cats. Gives your cat a well-balanced, nourishing diet.
So the heads are probably a bit dirty.
Look at it, will you?
Another one.
Starting to get a bit of drop out and the tracking at the far end, so means we have to give this heat some VCR with heat clean, which I normally do after every single tape. Do I give this VCR more heat cleans than I give the 500? Because the old long play tapes are more prone to drop out.
All command posts, stand by to fire.
Now we're going to do a demonstration on the high 1780 VCR. The LED display on this one is much better than on the other one, but this VCR's got a good potential of working really well. It just needs a better video head. It's one of the heads, as I mentioned, it chipped. So I'll whack a cassette in and show you what I mean by bad picture, which you would have seen just see the dropout lines on the other cassette as it needs, on the other VCR as it needs a head clean. Anyway, cotton tips, trying to clean these bloody heads. Anyway, this one's also a little bit fiddly too. Power up. Okay. Ready for play. You need to tune this one in a bit. Turn up the volume. As you can see, I've got those bloody dropout lines. Because one of the heads, as I mentioned, are chipped. So when I get a good video head, I should get a perfect picture. This VCR looks like it's been out in a bit of rain too. Amazing electronics are stuffed up from it.
My name is Delbert Wilkins, and wasn't that last stunt crucial? But I'll tell you what, guys, it's all done with camera tricks. You know what I mean?
Anyway,
I know all this, right?
VCR. It needs a new video. Okay, the last things I'm going to be showing you will be my old videotape collection. Okay, the last things to show is my vintage videotape collection. Starting off with my humongous amount of Philips VCR cassettes. It's about 65 of these, which is a thumping huge amount. Most of them come from here and there in Australia, some come from England. All of these recordings on these date between 1975 and 1984, although there's some cassettes with 9-inch recordings on it. Anyhow, as you can see, the big chunky things in which the format of these are in coaxial format, which spools are stacked on top of each other like the old American cartridge vision cassettes. They never had cartridge vision, as far as I know at least. Anyway, as you can see, looking at it, the tape is on the tape comes down in a slant from the top spool to the bottom spool, and the heads in the VCR machines are pretty much more straighter than the ones on a VHS machine. The Philips VCR format also made the Philips cleaning cassette, which I found out recently dangerous to use in a Philips VCR because they sandpaper the heads and stuff them up completely. This is probably a good way Philips making money. Now over here I have a vintage EIAJ format 1/2-inch video reel. One and only, of course. And I'll soon be getting several boxes of these things containing a bunch of rare programs from the 70s on them. All we need is an EIAJ format reel-to-reel VCR to play them on, which I should be getting from the same guy who's selling me the Grundig, this VR machine. Okay, next up we've got a bunch of other vintage video items here. This is what I'd say about 25 to 30 Betamax tapes I have. And some pneumatic tapes, just now a sample of the 38 I have, 5 of those, Portapack camera types and 33 of these. Here we've got a 1-inch video reel for those professional broadcast decks. I've got about, I think I've got 2 or 3 others, but they're at the moment at Dog's place, as I was getting him to transfer them to either beta or VHS. Also got a 2-inch reel that's also at Dog's place. Okay, you've got a roll of 35mm film. I'm not sure what applications it was used for in the broadcasting industry, but looks pretty blank to me. Don't know if there's anything on it. And here we've got an old camera tube. Now I don't know what. A few guesses. This is either an orthicon, could be a plumicon, could be some other type, trinicon, whatever. I don't know what format this one is, but my best guess it's an orthicon. Okay, this brings us to the end of the documentary. I hope you enjoyed the video demos and the showcasing of my vintage video gear. And we look forward to showcasing more vintage video gear when I get some more coming in. Thank you very much.